Wall Street has gone into meltdown mode tonight.
Woo, babies! The entire markets are in a calamity today.
It is crazy. It will get worse.
Yep, we've got ourselves a good old-fashioned
crash, crash, crash.
The US stock market fell off a cliff overnight with a 3.9% drop. It's now had more than a fifth of its value wiped off since January. America's now officially in bear market territory. Much like the real thing, that's real bad news.
A bear market is marked by investors being conservative and pessimistic.
They're in their dens, just kind of sleeping away as the market tends to go down.
And it's a sign that people are pretty fearful about the market right now.
And when America sneezes, we catch a cold. The Aussie stock market today taking a 5% plunge within minutes of opening before stabilising slightly. The cause of the carnage? The slow dawning realisation that inflation's here to stay, both here and abroad.
So we're really in uncharted territory, and that translates into uncertainty about how high the Fed will have to raise interest rates.
For now, it's a nervous wait for fat cats, mum and dad investors, super funds and everyone in between.
The big challenge, though, is how long this inflationary shock persists. If it lasts for too long, that's when we start talking about a significant downturn to the economy or even potentially a recession.
So can we avoid an even bigger wipeout?
Investsmart's Evan Lucas is our go-to market guru. Now, Evan, you've not really had too much good news for us recently, so just how bad was today?
Yeah, I don't know why you always get me on here to be the Grim Reaper in terms of what I'm doing. Look, it was bad, and unfortunately you can almost count on one hand how many times you've seen the market fall 5% on the open. I hadn't seen anything like that since the start of the pandemic, but then you had to go all the way back to the GFC. At one point, we had lost $115 billion worth of value. I need to put that into a bit of perspective. We've made $450 billion of value since the bottom of the pandemic crisis to where we are now. But it doesn't count from the fact that it was a really, really tough day. And it all is on the idea that central banks have lost control of inflation and that we are going to face a big, big recession.
So if the market is reacting to these warnings from the Federal Reserve that it is going to tackle inflation seriously, why does the response in the market then look a bit like panic?
Because they're trying to have their cake and eat it too, Hamish, in terms of what I mean by that. They are saying to you that they can get inflation back. Let's be honest. They've lost control of it. And it's not just the Federal Reserve, it's across the whole globe. So if you've got one piece of policy to pull, which is interest rates for the monetary policy side, of trying to crimp consumption, to try and slow down our spending, to try and catch inflation, if you do it too hard, too fast, which looks like is what they're going to do it, it's not just about the economics, it becomes about behaviour. You and I will actually slow down our spending so much so that we might actually get so worried that things are so clouded that we start doing things against what we normally do. And therefore, consumption goes backwards, making up over 2/3 of GDP. That's where the recession risk comes in, because it won't be able to be covered by net exports or by government spending. It's a tightrope in terms of where we sit, and there is still every chance that they go too hard, like we're possibly seeing in the States, that we could join them.
Evan, I'm confused about all this talk about inflation because I feed a family of 6 and I shop every day. Yep. Poorly organised I may be, but nonetheless, it means I know about the prices in supermarkets, and they're so way above what economists are telling us that inflation is running at. Like yesterday, this is unbelievable, I paid $9 a kilo for zucchini. Yeah. Everyone's obsessed with lettuce, but to my mind, between shrinkflation and these exorbitant prices, inflation's much higher than 5%.
It is in certain spaces, so I agree with you on that. So zucchinis are at $9. If you had asked me that same question about 4 or 5 weeks ago, Kate, it would have been cauliflower.
Yeah, right.
So your problem around zucchinis is coming from the floods have still not been fully picked up from what happened on the East Coast midway through the start of this year. Those recoveries haven't happened yet. So the demand from you is still there for your family, but the actual product isn't there. This is the other issue with inflation. It's not just about demand, it's about supply.
Good news next time, Evan, please. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Georgie.